Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates.
Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the first generation of the Isuzu MU-X. This is the facelifted model. The tagline of this car is born to be more expensive because in the past 5 years the price of this car has gone up by 50%. MU-X actually stands for Multi-Utility Extreme. It's the replacement of the MU-7. This is the key of the vehicle, says Isuzu here. This is to unlock the car, this is to lock the car. And that's about it. Straight away, let's open the engine bay. Yeah, there it is. There is the engine, and you can see there's some amount of vibration which can be felt, and there is insulation there, of course. Now, this is powered by 1.9 liter engine. This was originally launched with a 3 liter engine, and then it was downsized dramatically. Now, from the front, the design is very similar to the D-Max on which it is based. It's actually a mix of two cars, the D-Max from Isuzu and the Trailblazer from Chevrolet. Now you get a lot of chrome. In fact, you get chrome here. That is a fog light. It gets a projector setup. It gets by LEDs actually, but you get halogen everywhere else. This is added aftermarket, of course. And you know what? This car is bigger than the Fortuner in every dimension. It's longer, it's wider, it's taller, it has a longer wheelbase, it has higher ground clearance to the Fortuner. Well, that's crazy because the ground clearance of this car is 230 mm. Meanwhile, the Fortuner has a ground clearance of 225 mm, so not much of a difference. The tyre size happens to be 255/60 18s, and I like the design of the alloy wheels. Look at the gap here. Yeah, this car has good amount of suspension travel. You get a side footboard as well. Lot of chrome. This is obviously aftermarket, the rain visor. Request sensor here, which does not work that well. You know what? The discs at the rear are actually bigger than the discs at the front, which is something weird. You usually do not see that. Again, this is an accessory, and you get halogen treatment here on the inside. Says MU-X here. 4-wheel drive, it's available with 2-wheel drive as well as 4-wheel drive. And that is the exhaust, which gets a chrome sort of a covering. Spare wheel is actually full size, yes, and it gets an alloy as well. There's the towing hook, of course, and there is the reverse parking camera. I think this car is a little dirty because I took it off-road. And you get a shark fin antenna there, a high mounted stop lamp. Says ESC here, electronic stability control. There's no need of writing all the features on the car itself, yaar. Kuch to thoda suspense rakho bhai. Anyways, here you can see there is the reverse light, of course, sort of a reflector treatment. And let's open the boot of the vehicle. There you can see, okay, it's 235 liters with the seats up. There's some storage space here. Okay, that is a warning triangle. And let's actually put the seat up. Firstly, you get a 12-volt charging socket, which is a nice touch. You need to pull the seats like this. Yeah, there it is. In fact, yeah, it doesn't recline. That's how it is. There's a cup holder there. So let's just put this back. And then for a car of this price, you actually have to push it down, which is disappointing. I expected it to be auto with one button. Power tailgate is what I was expecting. There's no request sensor on the left side. Now to get inside at the rear is very easy because all I have to do is press this. There it tumbles and then you can get inside. The seats seem decently comfortable. You know what's good? It gets adjustable headrest. Yeah, there it is. Headrest, which is adjustable for rear seat passengers. There's a light placement here on the top. And there's a handle to hold on to on both the sides, of course. Some amount of storage here. If I put the seat back now, yes. Now you can see the problem, okay? There is absolutely no leg room. You can see how my feet are right now because there's no space at all. Yeah, now it's slightly better. But under that support is completely missing and headroom is not there at all. So last row is useless. You get AC vents though. I don't know for whom because nobody can sit in here, of course. And let me just get out from here. Yeah, I don't know why nobody can make a proper last row of seat, you know. Very bad. And since this does not slide ahead or behind, that's the maximum legroom and knee room which you saw right now. Getting in and out is a bit of a difficulty, but let's just put this back into place. Oh, this is heavy. It has a recline angle, which is kind of nice for added comfort. Isofix child seat mounts, of course. Door pockets are decent size. Leather treatment here, which is nice, along with this white stitching as well. So legroom and knee room is actually good here. Under that support is average, not very great. And there's a magazine holder here. There's a USB charging socket here. This thing should open but doesn't open at all. Slight hum, 3 people can sit in comfortably because the middle passenger actually gets ahead. You get a center. Oh my god, why is everything so difficult to operate in this car? Armrest with twin cup holders as well. And these are the controls for the air conditioning on the top, plus a light for each of the passengers. And then there's a hook, there's a handle to hold on to, height adjustable seat belts, 6 airbags in this car, and the seats are actually very nice and comfy. So you can see tweeter placement here. It says live surround sound, but the audio system is not that great. That is the dashboard of the vehicle. So from the rear, as well as in the terms of the dashboard design, it has a lot of similarities with the Chevrolet Trailblazer. So I don't know why Chevrolet goes and collaborates with almost every car maker. खुद का तो कुछ है नहीं उनका. Anyways, this is 6-way power adjust for the driver, only for the driver, okay. Door pockets are small here. One touch up down for the driver's side power window. These are the controls for locking and unlocking the door. This is obviously for the child lock function. Adjustment for the mirrors happens from here. Downhill assist is there, and there is a cup holder which helps you cool stuff. Traction control button right there, and yeah, steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake is what I believe. There's some storage space there. There's the OBD port, of course. There's a proper dead pedal as well. Seats are actually nice and comfortable, like really nice and comfortable. It says I here, so you can browse through the multi-information display. Let's do one thing. Let's turn off the hazards. Let's turn off the lights as well, and then you can see the screen. Now, this is kind of plain and basic, but then in the center you've got plenty of information, which is similar to the D-Max pickup truck. Yeah, the Cluster 2 is very similar. No, I mean nothing revolutionary. These are the controls for the cruise control. These are the controls for the audio system, and yeah, everything is very hard to operate. Steering doesn't move ahead or behind, even though it tells me here that it moves ahead or behind. It does not. It only moves up and down, so that's another bit of a bummer. Okay, this is to turn on the rear AC. This is the engine start button, and there's some storage space here with a lot of papers. There's some storage space here actually, yeah, and there's another glove box there. So multiple glove boxes along with a 12-volt charging socket, and then you also get a cup holder here, handle to hold on to when getting in on both the sides. There's a sunglass holder here, light placement here on the top as well. Meanwhile, there's a mirror here, no light, and here you also get a mirror, but again no light. There's a handle here on the top as well. Steering feels nice to hold actually, and air conditioning gets a climate control function. Air conditioning works quite well, but yeah, very nice actually the air conditioning of this car. Twin cup holders, chrome treatment here. This is the lever for the 4-wheel drive selector, physical handbrake of course. This does not move ahead or behind. There's decent storage space here, but what's the problem? There's a USB charging socket which just does not open. That it has been shut, it doesn't open. There's a 12-volt charging socket as well. Let's get into reverse. This is the reverse parking camera. It gets no guidelines. I mean, it gets guidelines, but they are not adaptive, of course. This is the audio system, which is a 7-inch unit. They have upgraded the audio system to a 9-inch unit with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity in 2020, when they actually launched the new generation model globally. So India, I don't know why they keep giving us the old stuff only. Okay, audio quality, let's listen to it. Audio quality is very average for what is actually an 8-speaker audio system, and I mean hard plastics are there, but some soft touch material here and there, which is a nice touch. The wipers work decently well, decent amount of spray on offer. This is not auto dimming. At this price, it is shocking. Then gives you instruction for 4-wheel drive, how do you drive it off the road and all. This is obviously for the light controls of this car. Steering feels really very heavy, and then your knee is going to collide with this particular console. But it's very plain and basic, nothing much to talk about. And then you might be thinking you might be in the D-Max because it doesn't have any features. That's the reason they have written Isuzu MU-X right here. So you do not get confused which is the car you are in right now. Let's do one thing. Let's start driving right away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means first and foremost, let me get into drive mode. Handbrake is down, and I need to turn off traction control. The button is actually here. Yeah, TCS off right now. And we actually get into manual mode as well. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, and off we go. You know what, in manual mode, it will not upshift unless and until I decide to do so. That's like 40 kilometers per hour in first gear, slightly more than 40 kilometers per hour. I made a shift, it took 3 years for it to shift. You want to see that again? Here, 70 kilometers per hour in second. Now, I've upshifted. Now it shifts into third, and third will get you past 100 kilometers per hour. So it gives you complete manual control of things, which is nice. It barely manages to cross 100 kilometers per hour in third gear. It's on the cusp actually, so that's a bit of a bummer. Anyways, this car is powered by a 1.9 liter diesel engine, which also does duty in the D-Max of course, and this engine has decent grunt because it produces 163 PS of power and 360 Newton meters of torque, which comes in at 2000 RPM and stays there till 2500 RPM, so it's a narrow torque band as such. But overall I would say the car has decent amount of grunt because drivability is nice and turbo lag is actually well contained here. Yeah, it's quite well contained, the turbo lag. Anyways, yeah, brakes are fine. We shall take a U-turn. Not able to see the signal actually, it's green only. And here, U-turn, out on the throttle. The tires are so grippy now that it never loses traction at all. Here I've got into auto mode and you can see the gear shift takes so much time as such. So you know what, when you're in auto mode now, the gears actually shift earlier. Otherwise you can take it all the way till its red line of almost 4500 RPM, which is kind of pointless. Otherwise it short shifts, which is actually better because there's no point of taking it in the top end because there's no grunt as such. So it has a good mid-range. Drivability is actually quite nice, but mid-range grunt is the best. So turbo lag is well contained, and that's the reason why this car is actually decently fun to drive. However, they have downsized the engine. So you know what, I'll just give you the history of this car. In 2014, they replaced the MU-7 with the MU-X globally. In India, they decided to bring this car in 2017 when the facelift was already launched globally. So they bought the facelift 1 year later in 2018, and in 2020 this generation was discontinued globally, but they gave it an updated infotainment system and continued to sell this car, whereas they actually discontinued it globally. So yes, we are getting a car which is no longer on sale abroad. So this is a 2 years old car when compared to when the new generation model was launched globally. So that's a bit of a bummer. Now the thing is, initially they launched it with a 3 liter engine and then later they downsized it to 1.9 liter. So the 3 liter engine came with a 5-speed automatic gearbox. This is a 6-speed automatic gearbox. It's a torque converter. It's not very fast with shifts. It's a bit lethargic, I would say, and that's not the problem. The problem is that there are no paddle shifters either. At this price you would expect paddle shifters, and you know this thing is a very cumbersome thing, like chotu sa itna aise kaise de diya. So that's a bit of a bummer. Otherwise the ride quality is very impressive. So I was like, yeah, it's very expensive a car, it's pointless and all that stuff. But when I drove this along with the Fortuner back to back, I realized this Isuzu is actually quite nice when it comes to the ride quality, because firstly it's based on a body on frame platform, but it doesn't have the continuous movement. The lumpiness is not there, so it just feels so much more secure. And then the platform is very rugged. This is very capable off the road. And then I took it to roads which were completely broken in Ghaziabad and Noida, in Gurgaon and whatnot, and this car absolutely annihilated the road without getting fluttered one bit. Much better than the Fortuner. The Fortuner's ride is terrible. This car has a very nice ride. The steering wheel is very heavy, and because of the heavy weight it obviously weighs up at higher speeds, but there's some slack in the center position which you can see right now, which is a bit unfortunate. And the engine also gets very boomy in the higher end of the rev range, so it's not the smoothest in terms of refinement, but it feels slightly more refined than the Fortuner for sure. So it's better than the Fortuner in terms of ride, it's better than the Fortuner in terms of engine refinement, it's better than the Fortuner in terms of drivability, but the Fortuner has better handling, the Fortuner has better road presence. I don't know how, because this car is bigger in almost every dimension when compared to the Fortuner, yet the Fortuner has a bit more rugged appeal in terms of overall aesthetics. So that's an area which I don't know how Isuzu is going to address. So the steering is okay, fine, I would say. It could have been better, but it gets the job done. It's a bit too heavy at lower speeds, but you get used to it quite fast. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. Come on! There is no wheel spin at all, which is kind of surprising. You know why? Because right now I'm running on rear wheel drive, of course, but no wheel spin because it has got traction control system, which is turned off right now. It has got electronic stability control, and of course it has got really wide and grippy tires, resulting in no wheel spin even on an aggressive launch, because somehow they have managed to tune the whole power delivery so smoothly and linearly now that it doesn't really go mad. Like in the case of the Fortuner, you can actually do a proper burnout. Here that seems very difficult. So the 3 liter engine was actually producing 11 horsepower more and 20 Newton meters more as well. So they actually downsized the engine and reduced the power, and torque and fuel efficiency has definitely gone up slightly. So this will return somewhere between 9 to 14 kilometers per liter depending on your driving style and depending the location of your drive as well. In fact, the engine noise has come down with the 1.9 liter engine. The 3 liter engine was much more noisier. this is a car which also has decent high-speed stability in spite of the fact that it's got a very soft suspension. The suspension is like super soft. It has a very long travel as well, but it's very comfortable in that regard. It's a super comfy car, and that is something which you really like. Now, like I was telling you, the second generation model is so much better. It is better in terms of aesthetics, features, and better interior and whatnot. That was actually launched globally in 2020, I was telling you, right? And this car is obviously based on the Isuzu D-Max. The new generation model was actually launched in 2019 globally, but in India, they continue to sell us the older stuff. I don't even understand why would they do that and what is the benefit of doing it. But yes, that is how Isuzu is functioning in India. I don't know why Isuzu forgets one thing. We are living in a global world these days, okay? We are so globalized that even Indian automobile websites are carrying this news that this car has got updated globally, but somehow Isuzu thinks that, yeah, people would not know about it. How would they know about all this? Let's sell the old model in India, which doesn't make sense because come on, you can't do that. Okay, by 6 months, 8 months, you can still continue selling the old model, but you can't continue to sell the old model for more than 2 years like this because people know that Isuzu is just chipcawing us old stuff, and then turning radius is a bit of mess there. But adaptive guidelines would have been a nice addition for sure. And I actually like driving this car. It feels very rugged, it feels very nice, and the brakes are also decent enough. Obviously there's this slight nosedive under heavy braking because obviously it's very soft suspension here, and that softness is actually a boon because in terms of the way this car rides now, the roads, you can't feel them at all, and there are lack of roads somewhere in the NCR region, and that's something wherein this car absolutely shines. I'm very impressed by the ride quality. I never expected the ride to be so good, but the ride is absolutely stunning. Trust me, it's lovely. Okay, into manual mode, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Come on, let's try burnout. Yeah, there, a bit of burnout. So it all depends on how you're launching this car. So you have to actually be on the brake pedal and then leave it very smoothly, and then you can obviously burn the rear wheels. By the way, this car has a ground clearance of 230 mm, so you don't even have to worry when you're crossing really bad bumps or such kind of speed breakers. You can just like, okay, I'll accelerate over this, no problem at all, and then things go up and down, and then the rear seat opens and closes and makes some noise. By the way, the high-speed ride isn't that great because, you know, the soft suspension affects the car at high speed, so there's some movement as such. So on bad roads at high speeds, not very comfortable. Otherwise, it's a very nice and comfortable car, which brings me to the most important and worrisome thing to talk about, the pricing of this vehicle. So there are actually two variants on offer, so we're going to come to a halt here because maybe we should do another burnout, because why not, right? Okay, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, time to do burnout. Okay, it bogged down somehow. Come on. Yeah, there we go. So the thing is that the price of this car is 46.13 lakhs on road Mumbai, this particular car. And if you want to opt for the 4x2, that is 42.64 lakhs. So that's 3.5 lakhs cheaper. Meanwhile, the Fortuner top end is 61 lakhs. I know that's a lot of money, but then that is for the GR Sport. The comparable variant of this particular car with the Fortuner, of course, is priced at 49.94 lakhs, the Fortuner. So the price difference actually turns out to be 3.81 lakhs. So you save 3.81 lakhs by opting for the Isuzu over the Toyota, but people don't believe in doing that because with the Fortuner you obviously get a lot more. The Fortuner is just a little bit more upmarket. This car's problem is multifold. First and foremost, okay, the warranty is good, 3 years, 1 lakh kilometers, which is similar to what Toyota offers. Then Toyota will extend that warranty for a price to 5 years, 2.2 lakh kilometers. None of that happens here. But the major problem is that in spite of this being a Japanese SUV, a Japanese car company offering you a decent package, it's a little outdated because the model being sold in India is the older one, and then it doesn't feel premium on the inside, and the Fortuner is better in multiple ways. But this car cannot be written off because the ride is actually good. What Isuzu needs to do is expand its dealership network very fast, and then also needs to bring global models to India rather than giving us older stuff, because they simply cannot continue to offer us older stuff because that just doesn't work. By the way, this car's relative is a Chevrolet Tavera, because the Chevrolet Tavera is originally the Isuzu Panther, which again General Motors took and rebadged, and that's the only business which General Motors usually does, which is kind of sad. Which actually brings me to this amazing slalom test, and here we go. You can see and feel the body roll as well. So guys, this is my vlog of the Isuzu MU-X, and I think it's a very nice car. Only thing is we need the latest generation model and more aggressive pricing, because you can't sell us the older generation model in India while globally you're selling them better stuff, and that too at a premium in India, because it doesn't make sense why this car is overpriced. I know the Fortuner is overpriced dramatically, but this is also overpriced a bit, and if they get the pricing right, things would be so much better, because the price of this car has actually gone up by 50% in the past 5 years
shifters. That's how expensive it has got. And then obviously Isuzu also needs to work on its dealership network. If you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I keep searching for the paddle shifters, there are none. Bye bye.